Jumping a traffic light, driving on the wrong side, driving without a helmet, overspeeding, these are some of the common things that one sees on a daily basis on our roads almost every day. Now, a report by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways done and conducted in 2022 says that in just 2022, that year, India recorded over 4.37 lakh road accidents, resulting in approximately 1.55 lakh deaths. And a 2023 report of the Delhi Traffic Police says that 60% of fatal road accidents involve vehicles that had previously been fined for traffic violations, primarily overspeeding and red light jumping. So it is no wonder that Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena has written to Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman seeking a change in policy that allows for higher insurance premiums for vehicles, especially those that have a history of traffic violations. Now, LG has suggested a layered insurance premium system based on the frequency and the severity of traffic violations as recorded in MOTS Vahan database. So today we are asking, as there is an obvious correlation between repeated traffic offences and the risk of accidents, will this financial deterrent encourage a better driving behaviour? We have seen Indians behave when they travel abroad due to heavy fines. So can this encourage better driving behaviour? And if there is a correlation with respect to repeat traffic offences and the risk of accidents rise, will an insurance premium which is proportionate to the accident, an offence, will that ensure that more people behave? All of those questions, of course, we're asking here. Joining us on this show is Anurag Kulshrestha, is the President TRACS. Also with us is Dr. S. Velumurugan, he's a Chief Scientist, Traffic Engineering and Safety. And with us is Ved Bhushan, he's the former ACP, Delhi Police. I want to come, gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time out. I want to first come to you, Anurag. We're looking at numbers here which are very, very alarming when it comes to road traffic accidents and what it costs to the GDP. Approximately about 3% of the total country's GDP is spent only on accidents, in either catering to accidents or loss of human life and loss of resources. To your assessment and in your understanding, heavy fines, is that the solution to trying to mitigate the problem of traffic offences and the growing traffic offences year after year?
Of course, increasing penalties will a great deterrent in case of stopping the accidents. But we have to think about this. What type of enforcement or implementation we are doing in our country? In 80% cities, there's no enforcement. In case of rest 20% cities like Delhi, Mumbai and all nearby this NCRs and all areas, yes, we do have the proper enforcement, but the penalty amount, we have to think on that. We have not to just copy and paste some policies from the foreign or the developed countries to India. Here we are having a normal salary of 15 to 20,000. And out of that, we are just paying 500 or 1,000 rupees for a fine. Is it a great amount to have our law-abiding people? No, never. And that is the result. The accidents as well as deaths are increasing day by day, and our union minister has to say and has already said it publicly, he is apologizing for the same. He is unable to stop the accidents. Now, about this about the increasing fine through insurance sector, of course, we have to think in our India, we do have 75% almost population for this vehicle population for this two-wheelers. We are not focusing on that sector. How much premium they are paying? Just 2,000 or 2,500 per year. If there is an increment by maybe 20% or 25%, maybe 50%, how much they have to pay per annum? That is 2,000 to 3,000. And out of that, mostly 40 to 50%, they are not having any, they are not paying the premium for insurance premium. This is also on record.
Okay.
So we have to think while implementation and type of implementation we are having. First, we have to provide the better infrastructure, because in case of developed countries, they are paying 40% to 50% taxes to the government, and out of which government is providing the better facilities in case of infrastructure and in case of proper enforcement also. We don't have proper enforcement. We don't have
I
proper
think
infrastructure.
that's an important point. Let me quickly get in Dr. S. Murugan into this conversation. Sir, in your assessment, is it a problem with not having enough fines in place, or is it about implementation? Because despite all those changes in the traffic rules, in the new traffic rules in India that were introduced by the changes in the act itself, it does look like that hasn't seemed to deter people from either consuming alcohol and driving or dangerously driving, which are some of the common reasons for why traffic road accidents really happen in the first place. So do you believe that, basically increasing penalty or increasing insurance premium alone is going to be of help?
Yeah, basically, as you know, into 2019, this Motor Vehicle Act amendment came, and subsequently now we see it. It was implemented in some of the states, including the state of Delhi. But when they implemented it, basically, if you try to see its on the ground adherence in terms of payment of the fines, that is missing. But basically, even though there is a fine is imposed to that extent nowadays, a fine is somewhat hefty as per the motor vehicle amendment for red light violation under 2,000 rupees. But still, people don't pay it, and they wait for Lok Adalat to get it cleared. And I heard from police itself recently in one of the forums, they told only 7% of these things gets cleared. The remaining, they just come to Lok Adalat and try to ask for redemption. So that kind of attitude is still there. That should not be encouraged, I would say, so that you try, if at all a person is a repeat offender, other than the insurance premium, that is one thing Honorable LG has spoken about. We should think about implementing in terms of even to the extent of suspending the license or revoking the license. So that kind of stringent measures are expected, rather than just try to take only implementation of the fine,
Okay.
I would say.
All right, and I think no better to answer than from the traffic police's point of view, Mr. Ved Bhushan. Sir, help us understand. There are two problems here. One, of course, is that people don't really comply with the law, and even when they are fined by the traffic police, there is a constant disagreement as to whether we should pay the fine or we should pay off the policeman. Now, that set aside, in your assessment, do higher fines really deter people? Because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, this has to be a cultural shift, there has to be a behavioral shift, and I believe traffic police also tries to change that behavior, inculcate that behavior from early on through various workshops in schools and colleges.
As a retired police officer, I think it's a welcome step by the government, and I want to clarify for your viewers that it's for, just you can say, for experiment basis. It's being examined at Delhi NCR by the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, not for whole India. And I want to say that whenever new laws or new things are introduced in India, being a democratic country, every corner there is a hue and cry. When you see when the new Motor Vehicle Act was introduced, there was strikes across India. When new laws implemented from 1st of July 2024, where some accidents related laws were framed by the government, but still on the hold, and there's a hue and cry that this must be very fatal for the general transporters, and big problems will come out. This is a fashion, you can say, but it's now at least how much time we will wait for more money related issues. But because LDI is insurance regulatory authority, which will support this issue, and I think it will be deterrent action by the government, or you can say by the transport department or police department, because there are in European countries, in United States of America and some other countries, this is a experiment basis where they were very well, you can say that a good idea, and we must take the examples from other countries like United States of America or European countries. I can say this is a very heavy penalty can be paid by the lower or middle class person, but it will be deterrent also, because life is also very important. As you
Mr. Bhushan,
mentioned
I'm hoping to not. I'm hoping to get a more human answer from you. I'm hoping to get a more human answer.
No,
where,
yes,
where,
I
as a
agree,
person who drives, sir, if you allow me, as a person who really drives on the Indian roads, अक्सर दिक्कत और मुश्किल ये आती है कि फाइन्स कितने भी ज़्यादा हों, वो लोगों को डिटर नहीं करते फ्रॉम ड्रंक एंड ड्राइविंग, एंड वी आर सीइंग दोज एक्सीडेंट्स सर. हर तीसरे दिन हम देखते हैं कि ड्रंक एंड ड्राइविंग का केस आता है जहाँ पे लोगों को मार दिया जाता है. हर तीसरे दिन हम देखते हैं दैट पीपल आर बीइंग रन ओवर, दैट पीपल रियली डोंट केयर ऑफ द फाइन्स दे हैव टू पे बिकॉज दे आर समवंस रिलेटिव्स एंड समवंस सन एंड समवंस डॉटर. इन अ कंट्री लाइक दैट सर, क्या ज़्यादा फाइन देने से क्या हम लोगों का बिहेवियर चेंज कर पाएंगे?
काफी हद तक चेंज होगा, मेरा ऐसा मानना है. और मेरे एक साथी जो दिल्ली पुलिस से रिटायर्ड एसीपी थे, वो राजघाट जहां से मैं डिबेट कर रहा हूं, बिल्कुल इट्स ए प्रोमिनेंट प्लेस इन दिल्ली. ही वाज क्रॉसिंग द रोड फॉर मॉर्निंग वॉक. वन थ्री व्हीलर केम, very rash driving without caring for red light and all that, and he was dead on the spot. The situation is very worst to worst. तो इसके अलावा there is no other way left कि जो भी एक्शन हमें दिखाई दे, अब पॉकेट में किसी की नहीं है, it doesn't mean कि you will kill any person, you will violate every traffic laws, you will drink and drive. It's very serious concern. At least government has taken some steps to go ahead in this direction, and we welcome this. Okay. As I told, my colleague was died few days, 15-20 days back. तो कभी ना कभी तो हमें इसी जगह, ऐसी जगह पर पहुंचना ही होगा जहां हम शुरुआत करें. अब इसमें शुरुआत भी नहीं करेंगे तो then it will be very worst to us.
Okay,
I can say.
Very sorry to hear about your colleague, sir. Anurag Kulshrestha wants to come in. Yes, Anurag.
Actually, to be very frankly, in case of Delhi, I mean it, almost 95% infrastructure is wrong. It's pro-accident and pro-violation. Till the moment we are not focusing upon the infrastructure, then proper enforcement with stringent law, that is a high penalty. And that is the only solution against whatever the penalty we are paying to the government. We must get accordingly facilitation from the government, better roads, better enforcement. Yes, I do appreciate if fine is increasing, if insurance charges are increasing, no problem. But at least provide us the infrastructure so that we can be a law-abiding person. Because in case of, like, we are ever discussing about the traffic sense and all, why it is worst? Is there any proper framework done on that point? Never. Do we have the role model on that? No, nowhere.
Everybody let's ask that question.
And pasting the rules and regulations.
Okay, let's ask that question to Dr. Velumurugan. Sir, is there a framework in place? Do we have a framework that we can teach to young people, adults, kids in colleges and schools? Because I personally believe that you need to have a behavioral change. No matter what fines are, people who have the ability to pay off, people who have the ability to pay those fines will still continue to violate because they don't really care. So if you want people who care, then you need to inculcate change early on. In your assessment, sir, are there such curriculums in place that can be easily taught?
Yeah, curriculum in place, if I try to see, actually in the NCERT books, they have implemented at the grassroots level, starting at the 7th standard onwards, but the issue here is, it is not actually only in the 7th standard book, certain things are there, but how people practice it on the road, that also should be taught. Like, say, for example, in many of the developed countries, we see the parents are made part of the marshals in trying to encourage the people to cross at a designated location during the, especially during the school opening hours. So such kind of habit change has to be inculcated both from the student side as well as from the parent side, be it a government school or a private school. So that way you can, it's not just only teaching. Teaching will not really bring that desired results. Something asking the people to comply with, and also they make them part of the system in trying to practice it. Then that way it will certainly gradually improve the culture, this crossing culture on the road, or otherwise trying to make the people more aware about following the same kind of norms when they are using rest of the beyond the schooling hours also.
All right, let me also quickly get in Ved Bhushan back into this conversation, sir. We were, of course, discussing high penalty and how that is important and how many Western countries have already implemented high penalty, which acts as a deterrent from any perpetrator or potential perpetrator from committing a traffic offence. In your assessment, have the changes to the road safety rules brought about a change in people's behaviour? In your own understanding of the traffic system in Delhi, sir, have you seen a change in the last decade or so?
Yes, I can say, because all the three things, awareness, training, deterrent action, all can go along, then we can change the system. I can share my personal experience to your viewers. My son is an Australian citizen. 20 years back, when he got to this Australia, he did some traffic violations, and government imposed 20,000 rupees, Australian dollars, you can say. And after that, from the last 20 years, there is no traffic violation from his side. So we can, I can say from my personal experience, all the things can go along: road engineering, awareness, training, deterrent action, and the issue that we are discussing today regarding the LG's proposal for insurance-related premium, and all the things can go together. Then traffic system definitely will improve. And I can say there is some awareness in the public now, in Delhi especially, because in the school level, at the college level, some traffic rules are being taught at different places from different resident welfare association, others on some other fronts also. There is some improvement I find now, but it needs more rectification, more awareness, more training, more deterrent action. It is that's why I initially say it's a welcome step by the government. I think it will improve the situation, and other parts of the things, just like my predecessor was saying, there's road engineering and congestion and other things also. They will come together, then there definitely will some improvement in the system of traffic system in Delhi.
All right, and before I close this show, Anurag, quickly, one last question to you, and that is with respect to people residing in Delhi right now. If their insurance premiums were to go up, depending on the number of times they have really committed a traffic offence, to what extent are we looking at paying?
Actually, to be very frank, nobody is focusing on what type of premium is they are paying. When they are purchasing the vehicle, at that time, your dealer is saying this much is the premium, this much is the road tax, and this much is the value of the vehicles, and we are paying. After that, every year we are getting the calls from the insurance companies that this much is you have to pay. Second company is saying this much you have to pay, and the least which we are paying. To be very frank, we have to focus on one characteristics. We are having 75% almost two-wheelers movement on our roads. We have to focus on that particular system. Right now, Delhi Police is not having the chalaning system or the digital chalaning system for two-wheelers. They are just focusing on the cars and cars and cars. So first, we have to think about the deterrent in case of type of enforcement we are having, type of roads we are providing to these people of Delhi especially. I'm saying 95% roads and road crossings are default where the maximum accidents are happening, and no focus on that.
Okay.
They are doing the ornamental decoration on our roads, which never works, and WHO clearly says awareness never works till the moment you are not providing the better roads, safe roads, and then proper enforcement.
All right, that goes without saying. You cannot bring about an awareness or a system where people are more compliant without giving them adequate infrastructure in place. Anurag Kulshrestha, Dr. S. Velumurugan, as well as Mr. Ved Bhushan, thank you very much, gentlemen. And India loses over 3% of its GDP every year due to road accidents. This amount can feed 80 crore people for 4 years. Nearly 4 in 10 road accidents in India result in death. What is the solution to this traffic tragedy? Catch our story, the 10 lakh crore accident shock, on the News 9 Plus app.
When we talk about India, unfortunately the country has the highest burden of road crash fatalities.
तो लगभग 76% लोग पेडेस्ट्रियंस और टू व्हीलर वाले हैं जिनकी डेथ हुई है।
While the highways are getting better in India, the local roads, the city roads, the town roads, these need to be improved.